Good morning. My name is Via. Today I'd like to share a devotion with you from Psalm 71. This is a beautiful psalm because it's written by David in his older years. He's at a time when he's feeling a little bit distressed and overwhelmed, and he reflects back over his life at God's faithfulness. It's a beautiful psalm because it shows us the authenticity of David's faith, how he was able to be so real with God and share his raw emotions, but he always brought himself back to the truth of serving a great God who deserved to be praised. I'm just going to read a few extracts from the psalm. It's titled God, the Rock of Salvation. In you, O Lord, I put my trust. Let me never be put to shame. Be my strong refuge to which I may resort continually. You are my rock and my fortress. You are my trust from my youth. You are he who took me out of my mother's womb. My praise shall be continually of you. I will hope continually, and I will praise you yet more and more. And to this day I declare your wondrous works, now also when I am old and grey-headed. I will praise you with the lute, and your faithfulness, O my God. To you I will sing with the harp. And this psalm celebrates God. It focuses David's attention on who God is. In the beginning, he describes God as a rock. And when we think of God as a rock, we can imagine ourselves standing on a rock. It's solid, it's unshakable, and dependable. And that's how God wants us to view him in our lives. And when we think of God as a fortress, imagine a man hiding in a cave, that sense of a fortress, that cave, his covering, his shelter, and his protection. So, what we learn from David as he shares his emotions honestly is that he trusted God, and all his honest reflections and his heartfelt prayers began with trust. He came to God because he trusted in him. He had seen God's faithfulness from his youth as he grew up, and now as an old man, he knew that this same God was the same faithful God who had answered prayers time and time again. So, although he was feeling a bit discouraged and distressed in the situation, he looked back and he saw so many answered prayers and God's faithfulness. And if he was to look forward, he knew he had an assurance of salvation and eternal joy. I particularly love verse 14. In another translation, it reads, "But I will keep hope alive, and my praise for you will grow exponentially." And if you take away one thing from this devotion, I'd really love that verse to permeate your souls. But I will keep hope alive, and my praise for you will grow exponentially. The word but shows us that he wasn't in that place when he first began writing. He was acknowledging his distress and his worry. But because he knew his God was faithful, he was able to insert that contradiction and say, this is the circumstance, but I will keep hope alive by focusing on God's faithfulness and assurance of answered prayers and salvation. So I'd just like to encourage you that one life goal that you can always set and work on is to work on becoming a better worshiper. Let's let the only exponential growth curve that we become obsessed with in our lives be the exponential growth curve of joy. Let us keep hope alive and let our praise for our great God grow exponentially. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely day.